Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Industry leader, entrepreneur and philanthropist. Our next guest is founder and owner of Plan B Group and also the race chairman for Dubai Women's Run, which is kicking off this Sunday. Welcome to the show, Dr. Harmeek Singh. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the show, may I say.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome back to the studio, to the office. And your story is a classic rags to riches, one that Dubai talks about so often. Do tell us about that.
See, I think Dubai is all about stories, and Dubai is one place that everybody finds their own version of how they want to actually move forward. And it so happened 21 years ago when I came in this part of the world, it was something that I was unknown to. What am I going to do? There was nothing that probably I bring on with something that I would carry as an experience apart from being an entrepreneur and coming from an entrepreneur's family as well, background. But then again, it so happened that I had my first job, which happened to be probably I had to look out for because I did not work for anybody before that. So it was 2,750 dirhams and
per month.
Per month, yeah. And it came down that I had to know that breaking down would make me a little bit more stronger. So working towards a part where I found one part of it, it was 18 hours a day, and I started working for a company 10 months. I jumped onto another one. The salary was 6,500. Working closely with a lot of my clients made sure that probably I was creating a kind of a credibility for myself. So whatever I was given, there was a word that probably everybody was spreading around that if Harmeek has got it, he's going to do it. So started from a small, humble beginnings. Second job led me to having leave that job because all the clients that I serviced in my previous company and with the support of the company that I joined, I was servicing them and I was still managing them. So it came down, I was earning 250,000 dirhams a month. So I had to make a call that should I be sailing in boats or should I actually have a plan B? So plan B was formed.
Wow. How did you become, for anyone here who wants to take advice from a successful entrepreneur, how did you become indispensable to those clients? What did you have that other people weren't doing?
See, I think it's to do with the time that you start looking at someone that you're working with as a client, it would remain a line drawn. When you look at yourself as a partner, so I have always looked upon with the fact that if I am working, I have got a responsibility. That's where it's not about taking what has been given to me, but then giving back a little bit more extra. And that extra mile always works. I have always had a little bit of a creative flair. So I see things differently. And since the time that I began, I tried to give it my touch and it worked. And it was zero kind of negatives, the kind of projects that probably I worked on, one thing led to the other. So if you have one successful client and you're working with them, they will give you 10 more. And it worked brilliantly well. It was once I began, I was the driver, I was the accountant, and I was the client servicing person as well. But it is history, and it was something that I would consider that made me who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
That's so inspiring. And a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard in like our generation specifically, like they say it was easier back then to start your own business, to form that clientele, form your own company, like step out, branch out. And now it's a lot more difficult, with like just seeing the business landscape across the world. Do you agree with that?
I would consider that each period, each era has got its difficulties. But I think we all adapt to it. So today, if I'm not relevant, this sector or this era, I should not be here. So it's all about adaptability. And I think it's mind over matter. The generation that I feel right now, and I do a lot of mentorship as well, I feel that they need to probably be a little bit more consistent, have a little bit more patience, because it does not fall on your lap. We have to work towards it. And it's to do with the fact that we've got so much tools, so many kind of things available to this generation. So we cannot complain.
It's interesting because following on from what Simran said, you came here in 2003 and made your dreams come true. Do you think Dubai is still making dreams happen for people? Do you think someone moves here now with your work ethic, but on the same salary? Do you think they can still make those dreams happen?
See, I think the times that I came, it was very kind of a stereotype of what people would work. Breaking that stereotype was something that it's a mindset, and people had a preset mind. This is how it happens. This is how it would be. But now things have changed. So I did not have, in my period when I started, there was no concept called startup. There was no concept called that there is going to be angel investors or whoever. So there is a lot of opportunity right now. And I think if you have, when you look at a market, and you see there's a gap, that gap in the market is your success story. You fill that gap and you will have people. But then again, you have to be honest towards that. You have to look at a long-term perspective, because a lot of new entrepreneurs, a lot of new companies, organizations, they open up, but having a short-term vision, they do not actually go that distance. So,
you know, right now it sounds so golden and like it just everything, you know, fell into your lap at the right time. But was it like that, or were there days when you were just like, you know, you felt lost and you're like, what am I doing? Should I give up and go back home? And like, you know, Dubai is no longer the place for me.
So my family background back home in India, I come from a very affluential family. We used to be very affluential. So I might say that I was born with a silver spoon. But then again, having not worked for anybody, that made my whole approach towards life completely shuffle. So once I came over here, it is no love story over here. There was no bed of roses. I come from northern part of India. So walking Sheikh Zayed Road and reaching to Dera, walking, with having no money for the bus as well. So I had nosebleeds every day. So it was a very tough period for me to adjust, and I was definitely at a brink of giving up. But the fact that probably the belief was there, and I had one thing that probably I had considered, that I've come over here, and I think that's something that I would not give up without giving it a good shot. And I had a reason, because I was very clear that I had my daughter. So I was looking at her that I cannot be a failure as a father. So started working, and that was my reason. I think it gave me a lot of courage. A lot of falls is something that probably makes you harder. So I have fell many times, and I think today it's not about falling, it's about getting up all the time. And I have now I can weather any storm that probably comes my way.
Well, that's interesting, and it's really strong words, and something that you've been quoted as before saying is failure is not meant to stop you.
Exactly.
So what advice would you give to people who are facing failure right now and they're struggling today to get something across the line?
Like I said, it's perseverance. When we're talking about the biggest and the thickest of walls will also break if you're hitting the same spot. But if you're actually not focused, and if you're not having that kind of passion towards what you want to do, you will always look at a small failure might probably deter you. I consider, do not go for big wins, go for smaller wins. The day that begins for you, it could be probably a very small thing that probably makes you positive, and that's where your manifestation comes into play. During recession 2008, everybody was talking about that, how people are leaving and this is not a place to be. So we were getting some business at that point, and it was like, if I'm looking at a business worth $1 million dirhams, it's not happening. It's not coming because there's no business on that. So change your mindset. Expectations were changed, and we were going for 50,000 dirhams and 20 of them. So we still make our version of how we want to do. It's to do with adaptability. It's also to do with perseverance. I don't think that probably there's a perfect world that falls into your lap. It is to do with that what comes your way, adapt it, and see that as an entrepreneur, learn the art of being like water, because water takes the shape, how it goes, and move forward. Flow is what makes you grow. So that's how I believe in my life. And today, if I'm working with millennials, if I'm working with Gen Z, if I'm going to work with probably the next generation as well, I adapt and I learn from them. And I also like to see that probably my knowledge has been shared, because it's a good combination of the youth and the kind of knowledge that I bring on the table.
Oh, that's so amazing. And it's such a key aspect, you know, adaptability, because be it any age, be it any, I think, department or whichever field you work in, the key thing is adaptability, no matter what 100%. You do. So on Instagram, very common posts that people see are like entrepreneur mindset posts, right? Like what habits you should be developing to get into that mindset and really change your life around. So what habits have you developed over the years that you feel like has had an impact on?
I think the first that I like to put across is research. So I keep myself alive to what is happening, and that's very important. And then once you know your ground, then your planning and your vision. If you don't have a vision, if you want to go from here to Sheikh Zayed, but then again, you have a destination. If you don't have a destination, you're just going to be circling around. So create your visions. Don't create something that is very distant. Have smaller destinations, and you're going to probably start walking towards it. But I think purpose, a destination, looking at where probably we look at those smaller wins and positives. This is something that an entrepreneur should look forward for. Bigger wins might come, but it does not happen every day. So wait for the smaller things happen, the clouds are there, and it'll rain.
Interesting. Speaking of habits, it kind of brings me on to the next question, because we were talking about what is the day life? What is a day like for you? Like, do you have the same routine every day that you subscribe to, or are you a bit more mixed in how you approach your days?
So I come from a sector and the industry that never believes in being planned. So that's why we had a coined name for my group called Plan B. So timing and everything else in
And that's
this
the
events.
Events industry.
So events industry now, because we've expanded on different sectors as well. But the fact is, it is to do with how we approach the day. But fairly, I may say that I'm not retiring as yet, because I still am a learner, and the passion still drives me, and anything that I create, I still keeps me going in my life. So the day begins with the kind of version of being creative, sitting with the team, being the team kind of a member, looking at that, how we can raise the bar each time. Once we do something, we have to be a refined version, and I can proudly say that me and my team, we don't repeat ourselves. We'd like to see probably how differently we can work on things. So the day begins with creative sessions, the day begins with the research, and then it goes on with meetings, but it's not as hard as it used to be. So not 18 hours a day anymore, but yes, 8 to 10 hours.
Mm-hmm. So to get a little personal, like your daughter must be so proud of you, so incredibly proud of you, all the things that you've done for, like, just keeping her in mind. But back home, how's the reaction to just the name that you've made for yourself here?
See, I would like to probably just put a couple of points for people to probably also relate to what has happened to me. So back home, it's something that probably I'm a very proud Indian and a very proud Emirati as well. The fact is that people look up to you. If you can actually inspire, and the inspiration does not come from the stars that you see. It's not about the people that you see on your screens or the poster boys. It's the people that are around us, because that's relatable. So once I did something, a lot of people actually just probably started believing in that. And I think that's how we should probably have the candle lighting other candles as well. This is something that I believe in. So over here, I would like to put this across, coming across from a non kind of a business or UAE or any experience, an ethnic, coming as an Indian, a non-Muslim. This place has been the best place when it comes down to acceptability, the tolerant part, and I got equal opportunities. And today, I'm proud to say that probably I was at the right time and in the right place, Dubai, UAE. Thank you so much.
Speaking of being, that's true, powerful words. I feel like a lot of people will gain a lot from that, because we are, as we said earlier in the show, 200 nationalities, many of us coming here at different phases in our life and trying to find a home, and many of us thank Dubai for the privilege that it gives us. Speaking of, this Sunday, something cool is happening. I'm going to be down there. What is Plan B's involvement with Dubai Women's Run?
So I took over after the 7th edition. So it had become a little stagnant, even though, like I said, this region, this place has been ahead of time. So when people were thinking about gender equality or things that has to be acceptable, UAE and Dubai, we came up with the biggest sporting platform for women and a running platform. We all know that probably it is sports that probably gives you that kind of a perfect balance of your mental, your soul, and your fitness as well. So once it came down to me, I was very keen on doing that, and I was very keen on working with UAE Athletic Federation. So I took over. So I am a co-owner, a co-brand IP owner for this one. The passion has been driven because I have had very strong women in my life. And then if it is something that probably I look at, it's not a run. It's an emotion. It's a platform. It's a community that's coming together. It's something probably we do not believe that 5th of November, it's going to finish, because we have so many things lined up, and it is growing, and it is something that it is not my project. It is everybody's project. And for once, I want to break the stereotype, which I spoke about yesterday as well, that let's break the stereotype. It's not always a woman behind a man's success. Let's stand behind a woman as well.
Love that.
Oh, no, honestly, that's amazing. But you've said you have a lot of strong female influences in your life. So what are your thoughts on feminism?
I think it is to do with when I see feminism, when I see that advocacy for equality. I don't think, and again, I'm repeating myself from yesterday's interview, I don't think that women need any kind of platforms to be equal. I think women are superior. The kind of thing that women are doing, men can only think of. So I strongly believe that it is to do with that communication, opening up the platforms, and it's the mindset that needs to change. And it is to do with the fact that probably today, when I see a lot of strong women, today UAE boasts of that. Look at the ministers, look at how we have had like the Ministry for Climate Change and Atmosphere, Her Excellency Mariam Al-Marri. And the first one to see that probably she's the head of COP28. But once she knew that probably this is something that can be a platform, she is coming for Dubai Women's Run and she's running as well. So that's what I mean, that it is to do with that how we perceive this. And it is to do with a change and a shift in society, which is happening right now, that it's not about equality. I think equality should be for everything, gender equality for sure. But I feel that probably women are doing so well.
I feel like, sorry, you're right, everything you said. Just want to ask, like, you know, a lot of mindsets are so regressive in places like India, for example, right? Like, especially with men. What is the one thing you would like to see change in that aspect?
It's always going to be the first balloon that busts. So when you see things like people now, I'm not going to talk about any region, but then again, women have started to drive cars in some regions now, which was something probably was not acceptable. So I have been a part of Foundation for Women and Children, which is again a part of where probably you are known to for violence against women and children. So I have been a part of that. I was an ambassador for them as well. 25th of November is an international day for violence against women. And it's an orange day. We still celebrate that. So my first campaign with them, and we coined it, it was called Speak Up. So speak up is one thing that probably is so strong. Till you do not talk about it, till you do not let anybody know, it's never going to change. And it has been a criteria that has been followed world over. I think India, I think anywhere Southern Asian or anywhere there's a culture that probably is, it is progressing. And the only thing that can progress, make it progress, is education and communication and acceptability. One thing, like I said, the first bubble or the first balloon that burst, it is going to be a horde of people who are going to come out, and that's what it is going to be. And I think that probably we are on a good track with India. We're on a good track with many other countries where women are leading the pack.
Amazing.
Well, leading the pack, and also we had an interview just last week also about Dubai Women's Run and the women who'll be down there, and the main key message that she brought to us was that it's going to be a... Excuse me.
It's good. Can I have...
Thank you. Sorry, my mic fell. Oh, it's still connected. Thank you. Well, speaking of supporting women, thank you so much. It's an event about supporting women, and I cannot wait to get down there. And we really do see it going from strength to strength every year. So thank you for being kind of with Plan B, kind of leading the charge on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And just as a parting message, I would like everybody to come and be a part of this great platform, a platform that probably represents in true sense of what Dubai is. We have 160 nationalities already registered with us.
Wow.
And we look forward for men to hold the cradles and take care of the children when our women run.
Yes, please. 6 a.m. this Sunday, Dubai Festival City. We'll see you down there. Thank you so much for that. We'll see you down there. Thank you so much. The end of our show. We're back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Same time, same place. Goodbye from me.